Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Israelite Advanced Bible Study night, the 7th of January, 2025. Okay. What I'll be dealing with is First Chronicles 28, and I'll be dealing with Jubilees chapter 28, I think it is. But it's a lot of information in there, and I'm just going to try to uncover all the information and try to make it flow, connect some dots, right? It's a lot of information in there. So with that being said, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening, check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and examine and connect dots for you, lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Okay. Our hours of operation is Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday nights. We come on from 7 to 9 Central Time. Then we have our Women's Advanced Bible Study on Thursday nights. It's from 7 to 9, but it's on our sister channel, which is Israel Wake Up. Then we have 2 Shabbat classes on Prophets of Awakening on the Shabbat, 1 in the morning, 10 to 12. And then we have another one to close out the Shabbat from 6 to 7 in the evening. Then we have like a dialogue, I guess you could say, gathering, okay, on Sundays, Sunday Advanced Bible Study. So that's at 5. And you want to check us out any of those times, you're more than welcome to come in, check it out. Okay, for those that don't know, this is a non-Masonic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts. Okay, shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Israelite Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence. Okay, and let me get this. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do our normal, which is a moment of silence, and let me get it. Prayer, songs, we have some current events, and then we go into some need to know information. Then we open it up for some questions and comments, dialogue, and then we go into our lesson. Like I said, I'll be combining the information that's in First Chronicles 28 with the information that's in Jubilees chapter 28. Okay, let's see what's going on with this. Okay, a minute. Okay. So with that being said, this moment of silence for the Lord of Hosts and all he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. The Lord, we come before thee, thanking you for your mercy and your great power. And we appreciate you, the Lord, for your patience and guidance in these last days. Oh Lord, we thank you for your awakening us to this great understanding of your word. Oh Lord, we see your mighty hand in the world's affairs and how you are constructing your people's deliverance. And we trust and rely upon thee for this cause. We honor and respect you greatly. Turn not that face from us, but allow us in our searching out of you to find you, O Lord, and to dwell with you. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, we'll read the Psalms. Okay. Psalms 31. Okay. Read Psalm 31. It says, in thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. It's a Psalm of David. Okay. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock for a house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privately for me, for thou art my strength. Into thine hands I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord, God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanity, but I trust in the Lord. I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble, and thou hast known my soul in adversities, and hast not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. Mine eyes is consumed with grief. Yea, my soul in my belly. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength faileth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed. I was a reproach among all my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to my acquaintances that they did see me without fled from me. I am forgotten as a dead man out of my mind. I am like a broken vessel, for I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side while they took counsel together against me. They devised to take away my life. But I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake, and let me not be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave, and let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Thou shalt hide them in the secrets of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of the tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in the strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplications when I cried unto thee. O Lord, O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. So that was Psalm 31. Anybody see anything there they want to shine a light on? Any comments? Okay. Okay. So a couple things I want to shine a light on. One of them is what I just read. It says 21, blessed is the Lord, for he is David talking. Blessed is the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. So what do you think that strong city is that David talking about?
Jerusalem.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. Well, I got another one over here. It says, um, let's see. Yeah, verse 5. This is another example of, like I said, they got JC from reading our scriptures. That's how they concocted them. And here it goes right here when you go to the Passion of the Christ, right? Verse 5. Into thy hands I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord, God of it. So they got JC saying that on the cross. But we know it came from right here. David saying it. David is the Messiah. David saying the same thing right here. But they want you to think that that's some kind of preview. He's prophesying about the Lord coming, JC coming. But he plainly says, David says, into thy hands, into the Lord's hands have I committed my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, the Lord God of truth. So how can you get JC out of there? I don't know. But anyway, so we'll go keep moving into our current events. Okay, I'm gonna play it and then we'll chop it up. Okay.
What if the future of an entire continent hinges on the relationships between two nations? What if one simple visit could...
So I don't know if anybody heard about it, but Ibrahim Traoré went to Ghana for the inauguration of the Ghanaian president, and the people went nuts. Let's check it out.
Spark a chain of events that shapes the path forward for an entire region. On January 7th, 2025, the inauguration of Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama wasn't just a political event. It was a turning point, a moment where the bonds of West Africa were tested, strengthened, and reaffirmed. But what does it mean when one leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, travels to Ghana on this important day? Could this visit hold the key to unlocking a brighter future for both countries and for the entire West African region? Here, we would like to take a moment and thank you for supporting us and being a valued part of our strong community. And if you are not yet a member, we encourage you to join us and help build an office. This was not just a routine political event, but a powerful reaffirmation of Ghana's dedication to democratic governance. Ghana, known for its political stability and peaceful transitions, stood as an example of Africa's potential for effective democratic processes. It's no secret that transitions of power in many African countries are often marked by uncertainty, protests, and even violence. Yet, Ghana continues to show the world that peaceful elections and the peaceful transfer of power are not just possible. They can become the foundation of a thriving democratic system. For Ghana, the swearing in of President Mahama signified more than just the continuation of leadership.
We want Ghana to conduct very, very successful elections. Ghana is one model of democracy in Africa, and we want the country to maintain that position. And we believe that this election will not be different. We want election that will be peaceful, election that will be transparent.
It was a testament to the country's commitment to democratic ideals that have proven to be resilient, even in the face of challenges. The peaceful nature of Ghana's transition is significant, not just for the country itself, but for the whole of Africa. In a continent where political unrest often makes headlines, Ghana's peaceful elections offer hope and inspiration to other nations on the continent. Ghana has shown that democracy can work, and it can thrive, setting a crucial example for neighboring countries and the wider African region. For the citizens of Ghana, this inauguration was not only a celebration of democracy, but also a reflection of their collective will to preserve and protect the democratic systems that have shaped their country. The significance of this day extends beyond the borders of Ghana, sending a message to the entire world that Africa is capable of peaceful political processes. But this inauguration was also a moment that held deep meaning for the entire West African region, particularly for neighboring Burkina Faso.
Negro land.
With a strong relationship between Ghana and Burkina Faso, it's clear that the political developments in Ghana have an impact that goes beyond national borders. This shared celebration of democracy wasn't just about one nation's political victory. It also emphasized the importance of collaboration between neighboring countries to foster peace and stability. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the leader of Burkina Faso, made the journey to Ghana on January 7, 2025, to witness the inauguration of President Mahama. This was not just a diplomatic gesture. It was an important symbol of solidarity between two neighboring nations that share a common vision for the future of West Africa. In the context of regional cooperation, Traoré's visit signaled Burkina Faso's commitment to working with Ghana to address the shared challenges faced by both countries. Ghana and Burkina Faso have always enjoyed close ties, but this visit deepened the relationship even further. These countries have long been connected by geography, trade, and shared cultural ties. But beyond these surface-level connections lies a more profound partnership rooted in shared experiences and mutual support. The visit of Captain Traoré was a public statement of these deep bonds, an acknowledgement of the importance of regional cooperation in Africa, especially in a time of increasing challenges and uncertainties. For Burkina Faso, this visit was a significant step in demonstrating that despite internal challenges, it remains committed to building and strengthening relationships with its neighbors. In a region where instability can sometimes breed fear or mistrust, this kind of diplomatic gesture becomes a powerful tool for reaffirming stability. Burkina Faso, under Traoré's leadership, is keen to demonstrate that it is moving forward from its internal struggles, with a clear focus on building stronger relationships with its neighbors. This moment in history isn't just about a political figure visiting another. It's about demonstrating to the world that African countries are taking charge of their futures, working together to solve common problems, and addressing the unique challenges faced by the continent. Traoré's presence at Mahama's inauguration serves as a powerful reminder that Africa's future is inherently tied to cooperation, and that the strength of the continent lies in its ability to work as one. And how did the people of Ghana welcome Captain Traoré? The reception that Captain Ibrahim Traoré received upon his arrival in Ghana was nothing short of extraordinary. It wasn't just a matter of official diplomacy, it was a heartfelt celebration of the strong bond between the two countries. At Kotoka International Airport, Traoré was welcomed by Ghanaian government officials, members of the local Burkinabe community, and citizens who saw the event as more than a political occasion. It was an affirmation of the solidarity between the people of Ghana and Burkina Faso. The Burkinabe community in Ghana, which has long been an integral part of Ghanaian society, played a key role in this warm reception. Many Burkinabe have lived and worked in Ghana for years, and they've established deep connections with the country's people.
Okay, anybody heard anything about this? You saw the video or what?
Shalom. I saw the video. It was very exciting to witness that, but I didn't see the whole video. I just heard them talking about how he was celebrating when he arrived. But one of the things I think that continues to be problematic is that, you know, like the person said in the video, we hear when there's turmoil and in the handing over power, but when it's peaceful, you barely hear about it. And we only know about it through these secondary media outlets. Not necessarily nothing that we hear directly, especially good news, comes through any of the other, you know, more established media partners.
Exactly. Yeah, they're gonna. When you understand how these people operate, you know they're gonna downplay it because this guy is he's rising like wildfire, and they trying to do everything they can to downplay it, but it's actually prophecy unfolding right in front of our face. If you're in the right place and you receiving the right information, you can see it. Anybody else?
And
Shalom.
Shalom. Go ahead, Sister Cheryl.
Okay, thank you. But he did not mention anything about the first woman in Ghana being made in history to be sworn in as vice president. He didn't
Okay.
mention that part. So I think
Okay.
that's another play that they need to, once they, go through the whole thing, what's going on. They didn't mention her.
Okay. What you got, AJ?
Oh, Shalom. I was gonna say, Brother Leonard, I kind of had a question. I had seen that this guy that's the president of Ghana, he was the president of Ghana before.
Okay.
So my question was, you know how you said they trying to get the Tory. Could that possibly be a play? Because if he was the president before, I mean, not saying that all the Ghana presidents was corrupt, but we know that Ghana has some of the worst corruption in West Africa. So I was wondering about that, just what you thought about him.
Well, my thing is this: just keeping an eye on him, because, like I said before, if you go back to when Tory first started coming on the scene, and the West, especially the French, had a problem with him. The Ghana president, the other one, he had a problem with Tory. He tried to round up all the ECOWAS to go against him and to attack him. And now all of a sudden, he gone and this dude here. So I would keep my eyes on it.
Okay, yes, sir.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
yes, sir. And I was gonna say too, Sister Tasha had just mentioned, but I seen Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. For terms when you mention the media and not getting it directly from the source, like directly from them, they're starting their own the AES TV network. So then the news will be coming directly from them, directly from the source. So uh I think that we'll be getting more accurate information.
Right, exactly. So that's sort of like a Al Jazeera for the Arabs, right?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, then they got these other media outlets like Make Africa Great, Black Culture Diary. You know, they kind of stay on top of it. But like I was saying before, you have to understand that the people don't have the information that we have. So there's a lot of things they're going over their head. They don't see. They're not there. But it's good to know where to go, because when you see it, you know it's gonna trigger in your head. Yeah.
Right, yes, sir.
Okay. Put another one right here. Like I said, when you see Dr. Aracana, know something to go down.
Formerly enslaved. They have waited over 400 years to return the spirits of their ancestors back home to Africa. When the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, all they ever wanted to do was to come back home to Africa. Each and every one of them that you see, many of them are coming to Africa for the first time. They're bringing with them the spirits of their ancestors to put them to rest here in Burkina Faso. And that's mission number one. You have over 300 million African diaspora who are looking up to you.
Talking about Tory.
We are here to show you that we are with you. We support you. We are behind you. And we will not let you down. Many of us were told, don't go to Burkina Faso. It's a war-torn country. Guns all over the street. Mr. President, we want you to know that the more they told us not to go to Burkina Faso, the more we ran to Burkina Faso. Mission number two, we have watched you, Mr. President. You stand for everything that we have hoped for in an African man. Courageous, fearless, and in their faces. France, unapologetically, you told France, pack your bags and go home. You, Mr. President, and the people of Burkina Faso have done it, and we have a responsibility to support you.
It is more than a pleasure that you chose to come here to Burkina.
Que vous ayez choisi de venir ici au Burkina. On vous a sûrement dit.
Hello, Black brothers and sisters. I hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from. Happy 2025. Now, there is a notion going around, and we've seen Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso.
Okay, so what you think about that? What Dr. Aracana was saying. You got to go back to. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say something the last thing, but I didn't get a chance to. Maybe it ties into some of the stuff that she's saying too as well. I'm just a little perplexed because I've been following all this events happening in Faso, Mali, Niger, and things happening in South Africa, Kenya, and all the other different countries. Well, not all of them, many of them, but most of them anyway. And I'm perplexed because in the word it does say that all the nations are conspiring against us, but it seems like the East and the West are doing two different things. And I'm trying to find a way how to reconcile what it says in the scripture when it says all the nations will conspire. Was he talking about just those that were Gentile nations? I mean, I don't understand, of course.
Okay. Can you say your word? Can you say it again? Because
I'm saying that I'm a little perplexed at the fact that it seems like it's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to a lot of the things that we're seeing coming out of Africa. It all sounds great. It
right.
does, but something doesn't jive, man. You know what I'm saying? This thing with Ghana in the past, we went there and we ended up back in slavery. So, it's just another trick. And why is it if the word says that all the nations are conspiring? Does that mean all the nations or just certain Gentile nations? It just doesn't seem to fit somehow.
Right. So when you understand, like I was saying before earlier, a couple of weeks ago, when you understand it's two end time prophecies. You got the one that they concocted in the New Testament, then you actually got the end times that's actually unfolding. And so that's where the drama coming in is. We started out way back in Genesis, you had two Enochs, you had two Lamechs, you had two Methuselahs. So when you understand what's Lucifer and these wicked angels are doing, they duplicate everything. That's the only way that they can exist. They duplicating everything that the Creator done. So we got a book, the Old Testament. They came and made the New Testament. We got a Redeemer in the Old Testament. They come and made a Redeemer. We got end time prophecies. They got end time prophecies. But what a trick coming in at is everything that they didn't concoct in the New Testament, it's already been prophesied in the Old Testament. It's unfolded. It's exactly what he said he was going to do. They doing it. And that's where the drama coming in at.
So we know whose MO that is.
Say that again.
And so we know whose MO that is, modus operandi. It's the
Right.
same people that bought us some ships. They copy everything, they stole everything that belonged to us and acted like it was theirs. So obviously, these people tie into that.
Right. Like, for example, it slipped my mind when I was reading the Psalms, Psalm 31. David said that his enemies all around him is steady at his throat. They're trying to kill him, right? Then he said, especially my neighbors, right?
Mm.
So what they do? When I read that, I heard that it's that's Psalms 83, ain't it?
Sounds familiar, but I can't tell you for sure if that's what it is.
Psalms 83. Let me read it. Okay. It says Psalms 83. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up a head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and they consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a people, from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be remembered. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Then here you go, the names. Verse 6, give you the name. Edom, that's Israel's next door neighbor. Ishmael, that's his next door neighbor and his kinfolk. Moab, the Hagarenes. Gebal, that's his neighbor. Ammon, that's his neighbor. Amalek, all these people, Philistine, all of them his neighbors. So when he says that in Psalm 31, he's talking about Psalm 83. All these people right here. These are people that conspired. Reason why we don't know who we are today. Okay.
Shalom. I would also, add to the wisdom you just provided to say that we also realize that they're not going to show up as the big bad boogeyman. They're going to
Right.
hide the truth in plain sight. And what best way to do that is to confine or confuse everyone by putting different versions or slightly different versions of the truth out there. So that,
Exactly.
but like I think someone says, those who have eyes to see and those here, as you continue to study, as you continue to grow, you'll be able to see through these fogs that they put out there. I don't expect them to just, they know the prophecy and just say, okay, well, we're going to go with it. And in times, I expect them to do exactly what they're doing. And what it looks like to me is they're fighting even harder now to put out all of these different versions, to give us a little bit of this and that, to try to distract us and take us off of our goal, which is to really find our true God and to return back to him.
Right. Which is prophecy. He said, in the latter days, you're going to go back to the Tanakh. Because when you think about everything that's been done, there's no way we should be back in the Old Testament. All lies, but it's prophesied. We're just going to return to our scriptures, and we're just going to search our scriptures out, and we're just going to find our God, our Redeemer. That's what's happening. And they're looking at that. And so they're trying to come with, like I was saying, if you've been around and you understand who JC is, then you see these groups coming down that united with Christ and gathering with Christ. Come on. But look at all the resources they got. So it's a dead cat on the line somewhere because you already know we ain't united with no Christ.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So that's where the trick come in at. So all these are just like they did over there for thousands of years, kept us from looking toward Africa. Had us thinking that Africa was this crazy place you don't need to go to. It was nothing. And the whole
Desert.
time it was a land of milk and honey. Go ahead. Somebody had something?
I was just saying they tried to convince us all these years that it was a desert and people just running around in sackcloths. And we see pictures of Africa and we're astounded because this isn't the visions they've sent around the world is the total opposite.
Right. And then, like I said before, with the place where they had us at, which is prophecy, that we'll be at the bottom of the food chain, with the place that we was at, how did we get here? How did Africa get to where it's at today is rising, and how we get to where we at? We, after all the lies they done, because it was prophesied. And it's unfolding in front of their face. And like he said, the lies that they concocted, they fall into the ground. Okay. Anybody else? We got some need to know information right here.
We think about foreign policy. It's one thing that I've talked about on this show multiple times is that the U.S. government has sanctioned a lot of countries, a lot of them. And China is not immune to that. The U.S. government has spent years putting sanctions on China. And now China is deciding to respond. They have decided to sanction 28 U.S. companies.
So let's look at that. He says, he told us in the song, and David and the prophets told us that you dig a hole, and all you're doing is digging a hole for yourself. You're going to eventually fall in it. This is a prime example right here.
Get into that story. We got this clip here from One.
China has announced a significant move, a ban on the export of raw U.S. products to 28 U.S. defense contractors and placed 10 of them on an unreliable entities list over Washington's arms sales to Taiwan. China's Ministry of Commerce says the move aims to maintain national security and fulfill international obligations, including non-proliferation. The list includes industry giants like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Boeing Defense. These 28 companies.
Pause here because I do want you to see some of the companies. These aren't all of them. So companies affected by China's export ban: General Dynamics, Boeing Defense, Space and Security, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon Missiles and Defense. So what China is doing is they are punishing the companies that are mainly defense companies that are participating in helping Taiwan. Now, we talked about this over a year ago. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but again, there is that one China policy, which means that Taiwan is a part of China. So when people say that China is going to invade Taiwan.
So one of the things, when you look at that, me looking at it, you got, for the longest, they know who we are all this time for the last, ever since we left Israel back in 143 BC, when Antiochus Epiphanes ran us out. They had their eyes on us. Like I said, they sit there and watch from Spain and Portugal for years. They watched that west coast of Africa where we was at, and came up with a plan how to come in there and get our wealth and confuse us, right? And then, so they finally, after all those explorations that you hear about, you see guys reading, all these explorers, all they was doing was spying and going through the west coast and mapping out everything. Then they came with the ships, and they did what they did with us. So now, all that time they got knowing who we are, they had to keep their eyes on us. Now they're in a position. Look what China doing. China is defusing them militarily. He attacking they defense. So now what they got to do? Either they gonna take their eyes off us and deal with this, or they gonna get snowed in. So who you think doing this? It's the Lord of hosts. They can't continue to keep on doing what they're doing to us with all that's going on to them. They got to make a choice. And that's where our deliverance come in at.
Taiwan, how do you invade something that is already a part of you? But Taiwan has been calling for independence from China. And the U.S. government is backing Taiwan. Of course, you know, they're going to go against China. So this is China's way.
Like I said before, China is trying to become whole again, because Taiwan belonged to them, just like what you see Russia doing with Ukraine. They're trying to come whole again. So what they gonna do? They can't allow that to happen. And they can't allow China to get Taiwan, which they're gonna do, just like Russia gonna get Ukraine. And we got this going on. So they gotta make a decision. They gonna go down like this, or they gonna keep on fumbling around with us? Which one they gonna do?
Way of hitting back against the United States.
These are crucial to the U.S. military and aerospace sectors. China's move comes after Washington's continued arms sales to Taiwan, which Beijing views as a threat to its national sovereignty. Now, among the affected companies are 10 firms, including multiple subsidiaries of Lockheed Martin and General Dynamics, a joint venture between Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. This action is part of China's efforts to safeguard its national security and uphold its one China policy. These companies have also been added to China's unreliable entities list, which means they will face severe trade restrictions. They won't be able to engage in import-export activities with China, and their executives will be barred from entering the country. This move underlines the deepening tensions between the U.S. and China over Taiwan. Beijing considers the island a part of its territory, and it sees the U.S. arming Taiwan as a serious challenge to its sovereignty.
Pause. So notice they said they consider it to be part of its territory. No, there is no considering, it is, because it's one China. Now, there's something else I want to say about this, because I think that China could be leading the way to punish countries that are arming, other countries. China decided to take a stance. They decided to take a position. We don't like the fact that the U.S. government is arming Taiwan. That is a threat to us. So let's apply that same strategy to Israel. Imagine if all of the other countries in the Middle East, let's say Saudi Arabia, they're not going to do this, but this is something that they could do. Saudi Arabia, Jordan, all these other, the UAE, these puppets of the West that are located in the Middle East to make sure that Israel is protected. Well, not to take action.
Have you heard about Ryoko Pro? This is the cutting edge portable Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's another factor too. They've been hiding. Like we said, we know the people over there is the harlot. So they got their focus on them too. They under attack. So they're gonna have to make a decision. And like I said, is if anybody know how to do you, the Lord of hosts knows just how to do you. And that's what we're looking at. We just mantling this whole system. Okay.
Has adopted an increasingly aggressive stance as it prepares for a second presidential term, with Mr. Trump an outspoken critic of China and its economic might. Listen to this part. Chinese regulators have announced an investigation into the American computer chip company NVIDIA, banned the export of rare minerals to the United States, and have taken more targeted swipes at individual companies to expose their supply chain vulnerabilities. I don't know how many times I can say it, but the United States does need China. As much as our government would tell you that we don't, again, we don't really produce much here. Okay. When's the last time you bought something and it said made in America, right? A lot of the clothing. Oh, by the way.
Okay, any comments on that? Feedback?
Shalom. Do they need, like what you just said? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Shalom. I was just gonna say that's true because back in the what years it was, but when all the Rockefeller countries went to China, that took away all the production in the United States.
Right. Yeah, that was in the late 80s, early 90s.
Right, yes, sir. So all those companies left. So I mean, we don't really produce nothing and export it to the rest of the world. That's a big problem, us not having China on our side.
Exactly, right, right. Yes, I got some videos on that. I was talking about how in Daniel, when he says that the four beasts is diverse from the first three, because the first three they rose and fell. But Esau, being sharp, super slick, he know how to relocate. So the reason why the fourth beast got 10 heads, because it transformed itself 10 different times. It started out as the Roman Empire, then it ended up with Constantine, the French, ended up Great Britain, and then from Great Britain it came to America. Now we witnessing the last transformation of it when, like you just said, when they went to China. That's Esau, the bankers. They started taking all the companies that made America great. They started building China up. Caterpillar and all them countries that made China great, made America great. So like I was saying, you're looking at a slow demo job. They bringing this place down and they bringing China up. And that's why Daniel was saying that the four beasts was more diverse than all the rest of them, because Esau knows how to relocate instead of staying in the same place and falling. He got a blueprint. He see that the nation gonna rise for a certain amount of time, and right before it start falling, he already got plans. He already digging another hole somewhere else to relocate. And that's what that is. But like I said before, the Creator got something for that. Yeah. So somebody else got something?
I just want to say, what business the United States have meddling in what China's possessions, because they know that it was in the contract for 100 years, and at the end of which they had the right to go back and take what was theirs. I don't get why they have to get involved and do those things. They just do that just because they want a war with China and with Russia and with all these things. They're trying to unite all of America. That's why he's talking about taking over Mexico, Canada. Now he's talking about Greenland and Iceland. Who knows what other countries he's throwing in there? But it's not good. It's not good.
It's not good. It goes back to that we always talking about it. What Albert Pike wrote down about the 3 world wars. They want to rule the world from Jerusalem for 1,000 years, and their blueprint is those 3 world wars. They got control of the Holy Land in the First World War, and then in the Second World War they brought the Israelites back. Well, right after that they brought the Jews back, and that fulfilled Micah. When the Jews, nobody knows that Esau was in the land of Israel. That's who was ran out in 70 AD. And Malachi, the creator, the Lord of hosts, is talking to them and told them that he's going to destroy them. He's going to run them out of the land, just like he ran the Canaanites out and the Israelites. He said, I'm going to run you out too. But Esau turned around and shook his finger in his face and said that though you run us out, he'll be coming back. They came back in 1948. That's all part of what Albert Pike had said. And that's what we're looking at. So now that they got Israel over there, now they want to bring all the world under subjection, and they want to rule the world from Jerusalem. That's what we're looking at. Okay.
Thank you for that
Shalom.
insight.
Somebody else have something? Okay.
Yes, sir. So as we're speaking about Africa and Israel, and going back to the homeland or the land that was promised, would it be a stop in Africa? Then the main place to be is in Israel, or is just to everyone goes back through the Atlantic trades, the course that they came here, they go back to Africa and stay in Africa, or the main thing is to get to Israel?
Well, it's prophesied when he says that he's going to return us back by the way in which we came. When they left out of Egypt, when they left and went into Egypt, 70 souls went into Egypt. They came from the land of Canaan, right?
Yes, sir.
So when they left Egypt, they went back to the land of Canaan. When Nebuchadnezzar came and got them and took them to Babylon, when he delivered them, he took them back where they came from, place in which they were taken captive. They were taken captive. Well, the last captivity, we wasn't in Israel. We was in Negro land. We was on the west coast of Africa. So what you're looking at is him fulfilling his prophecy. He's taking us back to where we was taken from the slave ships, back to the west coast. Then from the west coast, he says in Zephaniah, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, I'll call my dispersed. So where they said? West coast of Africa.
So the main thing is to stay in Africa.
Well, yeah, until prophecy is fulfilled.
Okay. Once the prophecy is fulfilled, we'll go to our end if we're here. If not, our descendants will be in Israel.
Well, if you go to Ezekiel 37, you got Judah and Benjamin. I mean, you got the southern kingdom and northern kingdom. Predominantly, the southern kingdom, the northern kingdom is in Africa. The head was pretty much scattered over the whole world, which was Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. So he got to bring us back to where they at, reunite Israel as a nation. Then from there, he calls us back to our homeland.
Yes, sir. Okay. So right now, as Burkina Faso was saying, well, the young lady, I don't know, I couldn't see her, but she was saying, come home, welcoming the Americans and the Jamaicans and saying, come home. Is that part of the area, or she was just saying for as melanated skinned people to come to Burkina Faso?
Right. Like I was telling Joseph earlier, they got prophecies that they didn't concoct it, and the Most High got prophecies. So when you understand who these people are, like Dr. Aracon and other people, they Pan-Africanists. They don't know what we know. They believe they think that they're gonna empower their own self and come back and come back. Africa gonna rise because we're gonna rise up on our own from the spirit of our ancestors. We're gonna rise up. That's Pan-Africanism. So what they riding off of, it ain't. They don't understand the hand that's behind all this, just making it happen. They think it's Pan-Africanism.
Yes, sir. Because most of, as I've been reading, they do not, and how she mentioned about America, the melanated skinned people in America, they do not like the Americans, the melanated skin Americans. China does not like the melanated skin Americans. Russia do not like them, but yet you say that he's using China and Russia to build up for the melanated skin ones who are Israelites to come over to Africa.
Right.
That's the question.
When we was in Babylon, who did he use?
He used King Nebuchadnezzar.
No, Nebuchadnezzar brought us into Babylon. The Chaldeans.
The Chaldeans? Were they wiped
how
out?
Did he deliver us? How did he deliver us? Who he used to deliver us from Babylon?
I'm not sure.
He used Cyrus.
Yes, sir.
Darius, and Artaxerxes. All three of them wicked as hell.
Yes, sir.
So he's doing the same thing now. And when you understand that, you see who the power is there. It ain't your house, shy.
No,
it's the Lord of hosts that's doing this. He been doing it. Like I said, and when you say saved or delivered, the Assyrian army, the greatest army ever lived, showed up at the doors of at Jerusalem at the gates and Hezekiah was king. And they had this massive army all surrounding Israel, and they said, we're gonna party tonight, and in the morning we're gonna get up, we're gonna destroy this place. So if you're looking for the deliverer, who showed up? The angel of the Lord. Huh?
Yeah, the Lord of hosts.
The angel of the Lord came and delivered Israel.
Yes,
we saw the other day when they was coming out of Egypt, and the Egyptians decided to go and pursue them, to overtake them and slaughter them. The angel of the Lord moved from the front of the camp as a flame of fire to the back of the camp. They're going to deliver right there. But you can't see none of that as long as you're dealing with JC. People can't see that. Right.
So as they're saying that China right now, as their military is being more powerful, because at one point they were saying that U.S. has the best military force. So now China with their airplanes, with their fire jets in their military combats, they're closing in on America as far as their military. And when you just mentioned about how they circled and they were ready to attack, but they were destroyed, would that be something with China? Because they're really circling by opening up ports and coming in, saying they're building homes, and that they got the air ports there too, and surrounding them with seaports, building up those things. Are they part of it? Like they trying to circle?
Is China with Burkina Faso are against it?
Well, it's an iffy thing. I don't know, because
no, they with them. They
were.
got their armies there. They got their armies there. Russia is with them. So the Most High, like he prophesied in 2nd Ezra, he's going to use Russia and China in the last days to bring about his prophecy, bring it to pass. He's using Russia and China to bring us home. It's not our homeland. So they're not going to circle us here and slaughter us here because they don't have a problem. They don't have a problem with us. They got a problem with they got a problem with Japhet. That's who over here. Japhet and Edom. Yes. Don't have no problem with us. And we see that from what they're doing over in the west coast of Africa with Burkina Faso and Mali and all those. They actually, they're just fulfilling prophecy.
Okay. So as I'm seeing the vision of this picture, it would be that they would take the melanated skinned people out of America, US, and after they have dispersed, the ones who are to go, then they attack the US and destroy it.
No. I think what a drummer coming at is you're saying melanated. You know, I think the
Okay,
word,
yes,
the
Israelites,
word
melanated
yeah,
Israelites.
you
Yes,
should
sir.
say Israelites. Because
Israelites. Okay, yes, sir.
everybody that's melanated ain't no Israelite. So
Correct.
he's the remnant. He's gonna get out of here.
Okay. And
Israelite.
then once the Israelites are no longer in the US, they're going to tear down the US.
Right. In the process of it. It's the
Okay.
same, it's no different than what he did in Egypt. In the
Now,
process of destroying Egypt, we was there. And in the process of destroying it, we got out.
it also looks like the less melanated people are going to are also headed to the South Africa,
Right.
where Elon Musk is at. So they're still, spreading themselves out and trying to get over there where Burkina Faso is too. They're still making way as going through with this Christianity wants to keep indoctrinating this so-called JC into those villages and helping them, as they're trying to indoctrinate it by being in there, just trying to make a foothold in these areas. So once they get into it like they did before many years ago, how would they take them out? They're still having that because once they start repeating what they're giving them, how, I don't know. The Lord of Hosts is going to work it out. Okay.
Well, all you do is look at what he doing. When you understand who our Redeemer is, you got to look at what he done before. Did any of those people come out with the Israelites when they came out of Egypt? As long as they was in Egypt, did any of the people come out with them? No. Did any of the people from the Chaldeans come out with these Israelites when they left Egypt or Babylon? No. So same thing will happen now. He's not, they're not, and nobody, he said that he's going to save the Israelites, Israel. So that's the reason why we're in the predicament that we're in today, because they didn't clung to us. And then gave us all these lies, and they gave us this false New Testament, they gave us JC. And we can't seem to disconnect ourselves from that. You say you got people saying they're awake when they half-ass awake. Because if you're dealing with JC, he's an idol. That the Egyptians, that when Bartholomew came on the scene and the Edomites, they concocted him. They started out with Serapis, and then by the time you get to Constantine took Serapis and made him JC after they got Hotel records. They went to the Psalms and said that David is David prophesying about JC when David talked about himself. When the Creator telling you all through the scriptures that it's David that he said he's gonna raise up in Ezekiel 37. When he raised the whole house of Israel up, he says, and David, my king, is gonna be over you. He don't say no son of David. He said David himself. Just like when he mentioned Abraham, Abraham is his friend. You can't say when you go and see Abraham and say, oh no, that's not Abraham, that's Enoch. No, he said Abraham. Abraham walked with him. David walked with him. He got Samuel in 1 Samuel 16 to anoint David. There wasn't no son of David that got anointed. David got anointed. And he said, David is going to be my king forever. And he's using the David's seed line to keep David's throne going. But he tells us in Psalms 132, in the last days, and he's going to raise David back up, put him on his own throne. That's what Ezekiel 37 is about. But we so caught up with what these Europeans and the Edomites gave us, we can't rightly divide the scriptures. That's what that is. And like I said, you can go to all of the videos in here and see them on the videos. It's word for word. You saying the word of God, where the word of God is going forth, but then people taking it and making it something else. So let's look at that for a minute, right quick. I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's look at one example. I just mentioned 1 Samuel, right? Let's go there. I want to show you what I'm talking about. Go to 1 Samuel, right? 16, right? He says 16. This when David got anointed, right? It's only one way to get anointed in Israel. That's what Messiah means. He's got all in Deuteronomy 30 that they made, and that all got to be. That's how the high priest and the king get anointed. Them the two anointed ones in Israel. So right here in verse 16, it's the Lord of hosts talking, right? Not Yahushua. And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thy horn with oil. What oil? The oil from Deuteronomy 30, right? Fill thy horn with oil, right? Then look what he's telling. And go, and I will send thee to Jesse. You got so many people, they brain cramped on that. They don't even know who Jesse is. He says, send it to Jesse, the Bethlehemite. So what that means, Bethlehemite? Jesse from Bethlehem. Like I told you, they went back and got everywhere where David was at. They went there and put JC in the same situation. So when you see it, because you start out, when you got brainwashed as a little kid, they start out New Testament. But if you read it the way it's supposed to from the old to the new, you'll see that David was from Bethlehem. You don't see Bethlehem and then run to JC. David and his father and his brothers from Bethlehem. So it says right here, I will send thee to Jesse, the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. So what is he talking about? The Israelites came through the land out from Egypt, and on their way to the land of Canaan, they came across all these nations of giants. And they saw all these giants with these crowns on. So by the time they get to the land of Israel, they chose Saul. If you go back and look at the story, they chose Saul. And he told them over and over again, you don't want to deal with that. He's gonna end up doing all kind of crazy stuff. Exactly what happened. Then he chose our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts chose David, right here, like he said, for I have found me a king among his sons. Not Israel found it. Our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts found it. Then he says, so he went, we know he went, and then verse 14. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul. Let me see, I'm gonna skip over there and he went to Jesse's house. We know the story. He went to Jesse's house, and then finally he said, he looked at all his sons, and David wasn't there. He said, you got another son? He said, yeah. So he sent him out to go get David. And then when David came in, he said, arise, anoint him. He poured the oil on David. So now let's go to Isaiah. This is my example right here. So we don't see no Howard Style or no son of David nowhere what I just read. Now I'm gonna go to, that's the plumb line. Jesse, right? So now watch this. I'm gonna go to Isaiah. Like I said, if you read the book backwards and you start a New Testament, you're gonna be clinging on to JC. So you go to Isaiah, and I'm in chapter. And you got to keep in mind, wasn't no New Testament, wasn't no argument about no New Testament because there wasn't none. These devils hadn't concocted it yet. So let's go to right here. I'm in chapter 11 of Isaiah. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. So what that's going to take me? 1 Samuel. Ain't no New Testament when he said this, right? So he says, a rod of Jesse, out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. 1, the Spirit of wisdom. 2, understanding. 3, the Spirit of counsel. 4, might. 5, the Spirit of knowledge. 6, and the fear of the Lord. That's the 7 angels that nobody seems to know nothing about. That's with David, right? Then 3, and he shall make him, who? David, of a quick understanding, because he done resurrected him, like he said in Psalm 32. I shall make him of a quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither shall he reprove by the hearing of his ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth, and he shall smite the earth. See that? Now go back to JC. They got JC coming back smiting the earth in Revelations. But he already told us right here what David gonna do, right? Says, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with the equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, right? And faithfulness the girdle of his reign. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling gather together. And a little child shall lead them, and the cow, we're going somewhere, right? And the cow and the bear shall feed their young ones, shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like an ox. And the suckling child shall play on the hole of an ass, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. And they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. So we see right here what I just read, it ain't happened yet. Now we go to verse 10. In that day, which ain't happened yet, we're waiting on it. In that day, there shall be a root out of Jesse. See that? So how can you go anywhere else? It's going to take you back to 1 Samuel. There shall be a root out of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles see, and his rest shall be glorious. You can't put no Yahweh in there. He said out of Jesse. You're fumbling with it if you go over to JC. Come on. He ain't saying nothing about no Yahweh or no Jesus. He said a root out of Jesse. He made it plain. Okay? Then 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people. Now, I just want to answer the question what we just talking about, Sister Cheryl, which shall be left. Look at this. Left from Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, Shinar, and from the Hagma. Where that's at? That's where they touring them at. That's the West Coast. That's what you're looking at right there. So like I said before, if you start at the back of the book, then you're going to be asked backwards. But if you start at the front of the book, then you should be able to see this, because we already in the last days, right? And he already done this right here. Let's look at it. Isaiah 44. He already done this. We're in the midst of this right now. Chapter 44, verse 1. Yet hear, O Jacob, my servant. This ain't none of your house shot. It's the Lord of hosts. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jezreel, whom I have chosen. I will pour water upon him that is thirsty. See that? He's going to help us. So you dealing with your house shot, you ass backwards. So he says, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, right? Israelites. And my blessings upon thy offspring, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourse. And one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand to the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. So you got brothers, they're doing this, but they holding on to JC. They holding on to that golden card that these Edomites gave them. Constantine. can't get it right. Okay? And then want to come up with side comments when the truth of what we just said was Jesse the plumb line. How can it be a house shot? The Messiah come out of the house of Jesse. Okay? So, with that being said, anybody have any comments?
I just want to say this. I mean, I don't think it's that complicated. You know, it says we went on a ship to a land we've never been to a people we've never seen, a language we never heard, people whose countenance was really severe. And it says we were going to meet another Geo. So, I mean, who was it? We came on the good ship Jesus, driven by Christians. And I mean, if you don't receive it, it can't be good that, you know,
right. They can't see
I
that,
don't know
brother.
what promise.
Yeah, they can't see that. Like I said, if you start at the back of the book, yeah, it's gonna seem like it's hold on 1 minute. Sorry about that. I got hyped up. But yeah, so if you start at the back of the book, you're gonna do that. So if somebody reads what I just read, how can you go to the New Testament after that? You know, it's crazy. Let me read another verse. I mean, like I said, I'm just picking verses out of here. It's all through here. It's plain. It's once the Most High open your eyes up, you can't go back to dealing with JC because you already know who he is. So let's look at another one. And like I said before, you can't make it. If he said David, he's a supreme being. He know if it's David or if it's Jesse or if it's JC. Yeah, come on. So look at this. I mean, I think it's Hosea. Or it may be Amos. Let me see. It may be. Yeah, it's in Amos, chapter 11. Like I said before, look, this is Creator talking, right? And these angels, they highly intelligent beings. They ain't off. Their GPS ain't off.
Shalom.
Okay, so it says in Amos chapter 9, verse 1. In that day, same day I just said, will I raise up the tabernacle of David. Where David at? He dead. Psalms 132 told you I'm gonna bring him back in the latter days and raise him back up and put him on his own throne. So he says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins. See that? He ain't said JC ruins. He's gonna raise up David ruins, right? And I will build them as in the days of old. How you get JC out of that? Come on. It's crazy as hell. Okay, anybody got a comment? And I can get verses all day long that's telling us that. But you can't see that if you start at the back of the book and you start at the back and went to the front. If you start at the front and go to the back, you might catch it. Okay. Anybody got anything? Yeah. Go ahead.
Shalom. I was just thinking as you was talking about that, the years and years that we've been indoctrinated to the to Jesus Christ and the New Testament and all of that. That hold is loosening up more and more. And that's why you see the government coming out of the blue talking about they finna eradicate the education system and they bring it back the Bible in order to try to recapture that stronghold that they have. I mean, it's when you say it's like scales falling off your eyes when I accepted that there was no Jesus by the simple fact that there's somewhere in the Bible, I think you had told us about it, or you had pointed out or read it about how the only person that can sit on the throne will be a seed of David. Well, where's the seed in Mary?
Right. Exactly.
Where does Mary come from? She don't have no seed.
Right. Exactly. And so that's what so many people they don't understand, that our enemies got hold of our records and they butchered it. Look what they did to us. Ever since we got kicked out of the land, it wasn't just us. So how did we get in the predicament we in? because we got puffed up. Like he said, they came out of Egypt, they got to the land of Israel, they had all this gold, everything, they got puffed up and got beside themselves. And he said they kicked. Yeah. And they got all this, so they got beside themselves on dealing with the Creator. So what did he do? They were puffed up behind the temple, right? Puffed up behind the king they had, puffed up behind the high priest. So what did he do? He kicked them all out. First he gave them a chance by bringing Nebuchadnezzar there, and then let them stay for 70 years. Then they came back with the same thing. So what did he do? Kicked us out, all the way out. The law, everything, our scriptures and everything was scattered. It wasn't just the Israelites scattered. The Gentiles got hooked our scriptures and hoodwinked them. It wasn't no light thing. It's the same thing they did to us. They did to our scriptures. Come on. And that's what they didn't understand. And when you listen to that jargon in the New Testament or in the church when they holler about these 66 books, no, hell no. They mutilated the 66 books. Come on. Can't ride off of that. That's a combination of these Edomites got together in Alexandria, Egypt, and they twisted up the Tanakh with the Egyptian Book of the Dead and with Buddhism, all that. That's what you're looking at. It ain't got nothing to do with us. JC don't have nothing to do with us. That's the Serapis. They concocted him. When Ptolemy got to Egypt, he made the Egyptians make him a god, which was Serapis, the first white god. And then they was riding off of that god all the way until they got to the Consonant Seal. And so you say, what are you talking about? Daniel said it's a beast, not a man. It's 4 beasts, which are systems that's gonna come on earth. The 4th beast received a womb in the head, not no man coming. That's garbage. So the 4 beasts received a womb in the head. What is that? The Roman Republic. Received a womb in the head. It got divided up into 4 parts. Constantine came, and his objective was to bring it back together. So he had our records. So now, and he got Serapis. So they went to the Consonant Seal and they twisted it all together with their good synchronization, what they call it. And he created JC from Serapis. But now they feeding off of what David done. That's why you go to the Psalms. Everything that David said, they got JC saying it. That's where that come from. So you say we just read in Zephaniah, he said he's gonna close. I mean, Amos chapter 9, verse 11, he's gonna close up all the breaches thereof. What breaches? Well, when you go to Isaiah chapter 7, the story about there, they're telling you that a virgin gonna conceive, but when you look at the story, 2 kings, the Ephraim and Syria came to take the seed of David off of the throne. They want to take Ahaz off the throne. That's a breach in Israel. If it's a seed of David not on the throne, it's a breach. So they wanted to come and make a breach in Israel, but the Lord said it's not going to stand because I got the covenant with David. So he didn't allow it to happen. So when did the breach happen? In the house of David. Matthew chapter 1, when they put JC in David's lineage. That's when the breach comes. That's what we at right now. It's a breach in Israel. They got JC stuck in our scriptures. Like he got in the house of David. So like I said before, you got a long road to go. If you still, the days that we in right now, you still hanging on to JC, you got a long way to go. Come on. He ain't got nothing to do with us. Why the hell you think we in the predicament we in?
If I might interject something.
Huh?
Yeah, I just wanted to interject something. It was about what you were talking about too. The thing about Constantine, as Christians say, that he was the one that championed Christianity, and that he saw some light in the heaven in the shape of a cross, and that's why he united all of Italy. Well, if anybody can go online and look at the arch that they have there in Italy, they'll find that that depicted that so-called war where he attacked Christianity, none of which has anything to do with Christianity. It's all idolatry. There is no sign that he saw anything. So that even shows it's absolute proof it's a lie.
Right. Sun worship. That's what he was dealing with. Sun worship. Like all his forefathers did. They dealing with sun worship. Like I said, when Bartholomew came on the scene, and when he came into Egypt after Alexander died, he went to Egypt. He came and he told them to make him a god. So they made him Serapis, because that's what Osiris was, a bull. So they made him Serapis. That was the first white god. They started worshiping him. And then from now, they worship Serapis all the way till they got to the Council of Nicaea. And Constantine had a problem. The Roman Empire had already received the wound in the head, like Daniel said. And he came, subdued the other three, like Daniel tell you. He subdued the other three, and he became sole emperor. Now he need a religion. So now that's when he get Christianity. Using the Old Testament and Egyptian Book of the Dead. And they came up with JC and plugged him in there now, but they still in Egypt. They're still over in where the people of color is. So now they got to get away from there. After they created that, that's when they moved the church. They had to get it out of Africa, because that's where they concocted it in. But they take it over to what they call that Sophia, whatever that church is over in Byzantine Empire. They moved the church. And that's all that half of Revelations is out of the book of Daniel. They cut half of the book, half of those chapters out of the book of Daniel, and they got them stuck over there in the New Testament, got everybody thrown off with them. So that's the beast that you're reading about, the image that was created. All that was in Daniel. And it's playing out right in front of Negroes' faces. And they're not understanding it.
Shalom, and you gotta also think about it. You know, why was so many people fooled back in that time? This is before books were right, because they didn't know. They told the stories, and if you just put a hint, this may be the truth. People, it was easier. Somebody was calling me. I'm sorry. I said it made it because people, like you said, you know, they couldn't read or write, and how they told the story and passed it down was through oral history. Well, we know every time the story gets told, it's a little bit of something that's different, but there's still a hint of truth there. So that's why it was easy for people to be convinced that what they were hearing and what they were passing along was true. Exactly. And then the other thing they did was through fear. If you didn't believe what they wanted you to believe, they killed you off.
Right. And that's in First Maccabees. Like I said, what Daniel prophesied, it didn't never come to pass. When you end in Maccabee, when you end in Malachi, you're in the second beast. And then when you pick back up in the New Testament, you're in the fourth beast. The third beast is not there. So where's the third beast at? He's in First Maccabees. He tell you the whole thing that Daniel prophesied. What happened? Alexander came, and then he died. Then it says that knowing who the Gentiles are, that's Cain's lineage. So then eventually, it says many men ruled, and they was oppressive on the whole earth. Then Antiochus came. That's the prince Daniel talking about in Daniel 9:26. Antiochus came, and then he attacked Jerusalem, just like he said. In 143 BC. And the week they talking about they got everybody waiting on, that's what Antiochus did. In the midst of the week, he wanted to conquer Egypt, and he went to Egypt, and then he conquered Egypt, came back in the midst of the week, and came up against Israel and destroyed it, and attacked the law, killed a bunch of Israelites, and ran the Israelites out. and they went to west coast of Africa. And Esau, Obadiah tells you, Esau came in and stole the land from that point on. He the one that was ran out in 70 AD.
Shalom.
Okay.
Yeah, shalom. When I first started speaking on the leaving the United States as an Israelite going to Africa, my phone got cut off. So I was trying to get back on. So if I had sparked something, I'm not into JC. There's not.
No,
I
I'm not
understand.
talking to you. I'm not talking to you. This is you know, it's opportunities to present themselves, and so I got to go in.
Yes,
Because
sir.
like I said, people are so many people in the dark, and they're thinking that, and then they're thinking that you will get offensive. We're in unusual days, because Most High said that he's gonna. Let me read something right quick. Make this make sense. So in Daniel 9:25, they tell you that that's JC. In Daniel 9:25, that a prince that shall come. I mean that the Messiah, right? Let me read it. Then I'll go make this point. So you go to Daniel, right? And it says, and like I said, this is a golden card right here. Once this is disassembled and you started dealing with JC, I mean, it's on you. So right here it says in Daniel 9:25, they say this Jesus, right? Let's look at it. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, they say that's JC. That's written in stone, right? So they say that's JC. The prince shall be 7 weeks, 80, 80 and 2 weeks, and the street shall be built again and the wall. So they say that's JC. So let's look at that. So when you go to, it says, know therefore, so they in Babylon. Daniel in Babylon. So, and Jeremiah then told him, you're gonna be there for 70 years. So they right here, they at 69 years. That's why Daniel praying, because he see that Cyrus and Darius came on the scene. So the 70 years is up. So Daniel's saying, what's up? The 70 years is up. So this know therefore and understand from the going forth the commandment to rebuild it. He's prophesying what Jeremiah said, that they're gonna return. So now let's go back. So they got all these books twisted up. Like I said, they got the scriptures. They attacked our scriptures. They ain't just erasing a couple words here and another word there. So let's go back. Notice what I'm doing. I'm going backwards. So now I'm in Ezra, right? Here go the commandment right here. No, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah. See that? By the mouth of Jeremiah, that's what Daniel looking at in Daniel 9:25. By the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation. That's the commandment. Here go the commandment right here. Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation, a commandment through all his kingdom, and put it in writing, saying, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judea. See that? Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let them go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, and build the house of the God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem, right? 4, and whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts and besides the free will offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. Then here we go. Now this is what I was saying right here. So we in unusual times, just like right here. So here go, same thing happening now. Verse 5. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah, Benjamin, and the priest. See that? And the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised. So that's what you got to go figure out, is if Yahweh is the Yahweh that raised your spirit, or Yahweh Shai. See that? Is it God right here that's dealing with Cyrus, or is it Yahweh Shai? They got you doing what you're doing. So he says, and the Levites and all them whose spirit God had raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver and gold and goods and with beasts and with precious things, besides all that was willingly offered. Also Cyrus, the king of Persia, brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar, see that? Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem and had put them in the house of his God. So Nebuchadnezzar, not Pontius Pilate. Okay. 8. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer, and numbered them to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. So Daniel 9:25 says the Messiah, a prince of Judah, was going to come back to Jerusalem, and the streets is going to be built again, and the wall that David built had been torn down. So he go a man right here. His name is Sheshbazzar, but he a prince of Judah. That's who he gave all of the gold to for Jerusalem. So who is this guy? Zerubbabel. His captive name. His captive name is Sheshbazzar. Just like Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego names would change. Just like our names would change. Daniel's name was changed to Belteshazzar. They got the name of their God on it. So this is the prince right here in Daniel 9:25, Zerubbabel. You say, what are you talking about? Well, go to the next chapter, verse 1. Now, these are the children of the providence that went up out of the captivity of those which have been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, not Pontius Pilate, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, came again unto Jerusalem, everyone unto his city, which came with who? Zerubbabel. See that? And Joshua. See that? Who is Zerubbabel and Joshua? Let's go. Go to Haggai. Like I said, they got these experiment, these books all up to lead you to JC. Okay? Now let's go to Haggai. So now Jeremiah prophesied 70 years in Jerusalem, right? The 70 years is up. We in Haggai chapter 2. Haggai came back with Zerubbabel, matter of fact. So I'm in Haggai chapter 2. In the 7th month, in the 120th day of the month, came the word of the Lord unto the prophet Haggai, saying, speak to Zerubbabel. See that? Who is Zerubbabel? He's out of David's lineage. He's out of Josiah's lineage. Joachim, right? Speak now to Zerubbabel, the son of Sethel, king of Judah, and to Joshua. There goes Joshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and the residue of the people. That go the 2 anointed ones. That's who Daniel talked about in Daniel 9:25. So they got their finger in your ear because they went back when they concocted JC at the council of Nicaea, they had to go back and put him in the scriptures. This is one of the places they went. Daniel 9:25, when they ain't none of him. So you say you proclaiming to be an Israelite, and this showed to you, and you looking dead at it, and you still dealing with that. It's on you. It ain't on nobody else but you. That ain't none of him. That killed him. You can't go to the New Testament no more. It ain't none of him. Okay, that's how that go. So that's what I'm saying. That's the deal. People keep coming with this. I mean, we in some very dangerous times. We at the end of a captivity. It's time for us to go back. Ain't no Yahushua, ain't no Yahushua in our future. Come on.
All praises unto the Most High.
Oh, yeah, that's a misnomer. Come on, we ain't know. And every scripture in here where you go and say it's Yahushua, it can be shown to you. It ain't none of him. Like I said, he tells you David. Where everywhere else, when he said Moses, he called Moses on Mount Moriah. He called him. You ain't cyborg his name. He said Moses. And then when he said David, now all of a sudden it's somebody else. It's Yahushua. No, he said David. He told Samuel to go and anoint him. He know who David is. Yeah, come on. Okay, anybody else got any comments? I had some other stuff on that, but I'm gonna use it for tomorrow. But like I said before, we can go. I mean, all night long, man. It's David. You can see that it's David all through the scriptures. They came back and they superimposed him on it. Plagiarism. It was David the whole time. He's telling you all through the scriptures.
Shalom. And you also know how important David is, because it was so key to put, you know, Jesus into David's lineage in order to legitimize him. That's how you know how important it is too, as well.
Right. And that's the breach. And so when you say, what are you talking about? Well, look what they're doing now. Now that because that's the key. So now that we waking up, what they do, they got all these nutbuckets like Elon Musk, the Pope, Putin, all of them coming out with this black Jesus. So, we gonna go along with that because we're not gonna let you figure out that he ain't no Jesus. They have the internet and all that tied to the Pentagon. Everything being monitored. They see that it's a remnant that's waking up. They don't want that to catch fire. As long as you got 100,000 niggas running around hollering about your house shot, ain't cool. Because you ain't. What's the difference? In the redhead Jesus that everybody had on their wall and your house shot. Same character. You just turned him into made him Afrocentric. Come on. That's what's in our future. You gotta put some boots on JC. You're gonna get back out here and we gonna get back to to our past. It ain't gonna be with your house shot. Come on. And there's something. That's the glitch. That's the glitch. Oh yeah. Anybody got any other comments before we roll out? Yeah. So yeah.
I just want to say a great class with lots of information. Thank you, Shalom.
Right. Yeah. It's I mean, you know, sometimes I catch fire. It's not that directly it wasn't somebody said or whatever. It's just that, you know, after so long, and then you keep seeing people coming, and you knowing that this ain't right. You know what I mean? And you keep then like I said before, to be dealing with JC in 2025, that ain't even Bible 101. You know what I'm saying? The Lord of hosts God, like I just read, he got Israelites even raised up. If you up in 404, that's 101. That's over with. He's not already exposed who JC is. And if you're still dealing with him, you got a lot of catching up to do. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. So, with that being said, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We got our reading through the Tanakh tomorrow.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, everyone.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.